Thanks for coming on, Blair. Really appreciate it. Do you want to just explain what's meant to be happening with your upcoming fight? As you obviously mentioned to me that there's maybe some changes with it.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on. And yeah, too few things happened over the last few weeks that has had to make me pull out of this kind of fight on June 5th against Christian Lapham. It's the first time I've ever had to pull out of a fight for injury, an ongoing injury as well. So it's kind of a new experience to me. And to be honest, I don't like it. I don't think anyone would ever like pulling out of a fight. But I've fought with a lot of injuries over my career, a lot of big injuries, which I probably shouldn't have fought. But this in particular, which hopefully down the track I can kind of talk a little bit freer about. But as of right now, I'll keep it quite close to the chest. I was fortunate enough to have the team around me actually pull me aside and kind of bring light to it a little bit more than maybe I was giving it. And yeah, I was out of training for a few weeks there in the middle of camp, and we made the call that it wasn't the best time to move forward with this fight. One, to give Christian the best opportunity to showcase himself against myself, and the Australian fans as well, because that's a fight everyone wants to see. You got the two guys at the top of the division, and that was kind of destined to be a really good fight. So I'm a bit devastated on that.
If you're asking, how long ago was it that you sort of found out that it wasn't able to progress with the fight?
We told Eternal 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Told Eternal and basically just gave them, hey, this is where we're at right now. Gave them the information, and I think we can't really speak on them, but I'm sure they're trying to find Christian a new opponent to make sure that he keeps on his name on that card and put his hard work to something valuable. But yeah, about 2-3 weeks ago, we let them know, about a week or two before that, gave it a chance to kind of heal and get to a point where I could fight again, but we just weren't seeing any progress.
Is it something, and just sort of final question, I know you still want to keep it close to your chest. Is it something that you've dealt with in the past? Is it and that's coming on, or is it like a acute injury that's flared up this camp?
I've had it similar before, but this is definitely a new injury.
Definitely.
Just happened at a hard training session. We've got boys like Tom Nolan, Dolmar Fan, Jackson, Leah White. It's a high level room, and sometimes things just don't play out the way they should. And yeah, just got the injury, had a bit of time off while we're in UFC Perth, and hopefully thought that was going to be enough time off to kind of heal it. But yeah, just came back still kind of banged up a little bit.
Hasn't been successful with that. I suppose actually maybe we can just go back to, 'cause your last fight was what, nearly a year ago now, when you fought
Yeah, I
for
think it's coming up to 12
the belt.
months. End of
Yeah,
summer. Yeah.
end of June. Yeah. Um, Sort of how frustrating is it then that you have this time off? Actually, before that, what was there? Is there been a particular reason why the time off has been so long? Because I know you somebody that likes to be active. Is it just missed fights, or what's been the reason behind that layoff?
Now, yeah, this is the longest time I've had off between fights. Initially, the time off was because our last fight, I got knocked out with Darcy Vendy, and just gave my head the appropriate time to kind of heal, and just recover. And after that period of just healing, once I was back in the gym, I thought it was a good opportunity to actually take a step back from fighting and just level up. When you're always in fight camp, you're always addressing the next problem, which is the fight. You're never getting a chance to evolve, to grow, to outsource or outreach your kind of potential to other gyms, to other coaches, to other concepts, while you're just thinking, hey, I need to beat this one guy. So it was a really good period there where I got to kind of brainstorm a little bit, sit down with my team internally, look at what we can improve. Tom and I got to go to Perth to a Westro's and scrap the MMA and do some cross training there. And as well as that, my YouTube channel took me around Australia to a lot of great gyms as well to train and learn from. So yeah, recovery period, upskilling period, and then we were trying at the start of the year to try and get some fights, but just a few niggly injuries, like your knees, your elbows. Like I'm a full time pad holder as well, so just little things flaring up from probably overdoing it more than I thought. And once everything was ready, I just wanted to make sure that I was in the best place possible, not just to have one fight, but to back it up. So I just kind of really worked on my body, worked on my conditioning so I could be in the best place possible to take multiple fights again. And unfortunately, yeah, here we are again, just being held back one more time.
How do you deal with that? Because obviously, I can see it's disappointing and frustrating for anyone in sports. I suppose when you have So you have that time off where you've gone and done other things that you were interested in and thought were beneficial and had been beneficial to you, and then you get yourself back prepared. You want to put a run together of fights. How do you then deal with this setback as that impacts you and what you've been sort of building up to?
I think earlier in my career, it probably would have mentally set me back or rattled me a little bit more. But the longer you're in this game, like the more plans you make, the more you realize that shit just happens. Like you can only control so much in the sport. You can only control so much in the cage. You can only control so much in your training and the outcome that's ahead of you. So I am quite malleable in my approach to the sport. And as long as I'm doing everything right and everything to push me in the right direction, the time will come. The time will be there when it's ready. Yeah, nothing's ever perfect. I think if you're chasing the perfect time to do the things, I think that's a one-way trip to just running yourself into the ground or not putting yourself out there to have opportunity. So I don't believe in being perfect in the sense of getting ready, but I just think your energy has to be going towards your ultimate goal. You have to have your ultimate goal in mind. And as long as my movements are moving towards that, I think that's just success for me. Yes, I haven't had 4 fights this year like I normally do. Yes, I haven't been on the stage kind of performing like I want to, but I've done everything else behind the scenes to push me to that goal. So that to me is still a win in my books. Sometimes it can be hard to see. There's some days where you're like, I haven't seen my name on a poster for a while. I haven't been in there because that's what we're here for. That's what we love to do. We love to fight. But again, have that ultimate goal, that North Star to keep you moving. And it's quite easy to get through this kind of tough time.
Do you have any plans for the layoff? I don't know how long you're expecting it to be. Are you comfortable giving a feel? Like, do you guys have an idea? Is it something that you think will be over soon? You want to get back fighting this year, or is it something you're just not really sure and can't?
Yeah,
Just got to wait to heal.
fully confident that it'll be this year.
Yep.
I can't tell if and when this Christian Lapham fight will happen straight away. Respect to him, I'm sure he wants to get back in there. So if they find him a new opponent, that's completely fine. But
Mhm.
my health at the moment is the priority.
Of course.
And if it lines up that we get back into there, then awesome. I think that's a great fight for both of us, and I'm looking forward to that. But it will definitely be this year. Yeah, I can't see it being pushed back too much. I know there's a fight card on the 1st of August. Um, Best case scenario, that's me back there, but we're not putting a date on it yet because again, you chase that perfection, you chase the rabbit too much, you get yourself caught up. So health first, and then we'll move on from there.
Mhm. And you never know with injuries. It can be going well, and it's a lot of time it's 2 step forward, 1 step back, and you get caught up, and they can be unpredictable. Just sometimes things heal, and sometimes things take a little bit longer. Do you have any ideas? Like obviously you mentioned there, you've been around the country to Scrappy and so on, and been doing the YouTube stuff.
Mhm.
Do you have any ideas or plans for continuing to do that whilst you're maybe waiting for the injury to heal, or even then whilst you're fighting? It's something you want to continue?
Yes, yeah, I was hopefully going to have this fight with Lapham and then go start doing season 2 of my Unstoppable series. That was the plan, but now that's been pushed back. We're just reevaluating now if we try and do this trick beforehand or if we just push it back to an end of year project again like last year. I don't have answers for that, but I will get another season of Unstoppable in this year. I was planning for 2, but again, you got to be malleable. These things it's still very fresh in its kind of production period. So yeah, if we can get one more season of Unstoppable, get a chance to go around see these gyms, it could be good. But um, yeah, I can't have a timeline on that yet, and just depends when we get booked again.
Hopefully, if you can get bookings in for the fights, you mentioned obviously up until now you'd like to have a lot more fights at this time of the year than you have been able to get this year. Um, wh- what is it that you think is, or why is it you think it's so important to be active for yourself? Is it something that you like? Because obviously some fighters will be happy to fight once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. Whereas if you're wanting to have, every other few months, what's the reason behind that? Why do you like that activity so much?
Well, that's the reason I got into it. Like I love doing the thing. Um, the benefits of it and where it can take you has always been a byproduct or a bonus from the fact that I love fighting. And then as you move through your career, and I'm sure a lot of people have had this, you join because you love fighting, and at some point you realize, hey, I could make something out of this. And it goes either one or two ways. The pressure of that builds, and you start fighting a little bit less because you're trying to be perfect. You're trying to make sure you don't have a loss on your record. You're trying to make sure that you get to the UFC, and you start trying to play it smart, or thinking that you're playing it smart, and that can kind of actually reduce your time in the cage and getting those reps. And there's definitely merit to that as well. Um, but for me, that's still very, very relevant. But I love fighting. I love getting in there. I love challenging myself against the best guys in the country and hopefully the world as well. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like I've done this period of upskilling, which has kept me out of the cage, but I'm not sitting there waiting to pick and choose my way to the next level. I'm just keen to get back in there. There's a lot of good guys coming through the ranks at middleweight, a light heavyweight, and I'd love to see my name next to them in the cage.
Obviously, you touched on there wanting to fight the best, and also maybe even the best beyond in the world, beyond Australia. Is there anything so what is the main goal that you want to achieve with your career in general?
I see
Do you want to end up
myself,
with the UFC?
yeah, I see myself as a UFC fighter already. The level that I can compete at, the people that I've already fought, and what I've displayed, and in and out of the cage, I hold myself to the level of a UFC fighter right now, and I believe that is the a pathway in my future. Um, and then that's what I kind of think about. That's what I envision, and that's what I'm working towards. Um, how that plays out is up to the work that I put in between now and then. And yeah, but I see myself as a UFC level fighter every single day in how I apply myself, how I fight, how I act, and it's just a matter of time until that kind of comes to fruition.
Yeah, and then just touching base back on the fight that you meant to have on June the 5th, was there anything, again, coming back off a long layoff, how excited were you for that fight and the matchup?
Yeah, I think it was a good matchup. We were actually matched 3 years prior. My very first Eternal appearance was against Christian Lapham, but I think 2 or 3 weeks out, he had a rib injury. I fought Darcy Noonan instead. I think it's a really cool stylistic matchup. Christian's quite long, quite has a lot of intent in his movement. He picks his shots. He has great timing. He has great kind of spatial awareness. And I like to get in your face and make you kind of forget all that, and draw you into a different type of fight. I think stylistically, everyone knows that's a really, really cool fight. And also think Christian's at a point in his career where he's got more tools in the shed that he's waiting for an opponent to use it against. And hopefully that's me, because I want the best version of him. Um, but at the same time, like I've fought, you look at my resume of my last kind of 3, 4 fights, I've fought the best guys in the country every single time. So every time I step in there, I know it's a challenge. I know it's exciting. You got Darcy Vendy, who's on a 5 fight win streak and UFC bound, and arguably one of the best fighters in the country right now, Cam Raston. And these guys have mountains of experience. So the fight against Lapham isn't a step up for me. It's where I've been for quite a long time now. And yeah, I've been training at that level for a long time now, competing at that level. And I think I've only grown in that environment so much faster than if I had a kind of stepping stone my way up.
How much do you learn from the fights against Vendy, against Rousen? Um, I know that obviously your last fight when you fought for the belt, the first round was unbelievably close. You know, maybe you performed very well, and then obviously it's fighting, you can get caught, and so on. How much do you learn from fighting the guys that are now at the UFC, and how much belief does that give you, knowing that I'm on a similar level to them, and they're going to the levels that they are?
Yeah, for sure. It gives me a lot of confidence, and I think that's how I've always learned. Like every loss that I've taken, I've come back so much better for. For example, Cam Raston fight was a really, really tough fight, really close fight, back and forth. He got a really strong win, but then look at what he's gone on to do. Like he's dominating at the world stage, and we had a great performance against each other on the local scene. That fills me with lots of confidence. And what I learned in my grappling and my composure in the ring from that, I went on to then get a nice first round knockout against Luke Stockman, and walk into the cage against Darcy Vendy, who I would arguably say is maybe scarier than Rouston at that time, and put on an absolute clinic. in my own regards. And then losing to Darcy, yes, it's a middleweight fight. Anything can happen at that point in time. Felt good, but you got a 5 round fight against a dude who can just do exactly what you're doing to him back to you. Um, yeah, I'm watching that fight again this week, studying it, learning from it, and yeah, you can never go away and lick your wounds at these fights. I've only been in the sport for like coming up to 4 years, like full stop, no grappling experience beforehand. So every time I take on these fights and lose them, that's to me, that's 12 months of experience I've just learned in one fight, in a 5 minute fight. And then you take that and you take it to your next camp, your next training session. Yeah, I love that shit. I think that's why I love fighting so consistently, is because I know win, lose, or draw, what comes out there, I can take, bottle it up, and then put it to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's what you've got to have, that mentality as well. So that's really good to see. Just to wrap up, is there anything that you sort of want to put out there? Anything that we missed that you'd want to cover, whether it be for the fight or what your plans are for the future?
Yeah,
Feel free.
I think it's been 12 months since I've been in the cage, and I've shown lots of progression over that 12 over my fight career up until that last fight. But what I've learned and what I'm evolving into at the moment, I think is the final push I needed to crack through that threshold and be on the world stage. And yeah, we're talking about making sure the time's right, not being perfect. I'm never perfect. I'm always chasing to be better. But I'm in a position now where I know I can crack through that threshold. And I'm really looking forward to going on a strong run. And hopefully that's Christian Lapham in the next fight. If it's not, for sure we'll meet each other at the top and fight for that belt one day. And I'm really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, if I'm not fighting, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, because I'm always talking shit on there and showing the process of reaching that top level among the great fighters like Don Marfan and Tom Nolan.
I love it, love it, and yeah, obviously appreciate you coming on. Shame about your fight. Hope that all heals up, and I'm sure something will fall into your lap and things will work out. But yeah, really appreciate the time, Blair, and thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.